everyone. Thank you for watching this video. I'm looking forward to doing this quick and easy project with you. You guys are going to love it. I actually made two versions. I made a shorter version here with just 3 Tila beads per earring, and then I have my original here with 6 Tila beads and per earring, and it's quick, it's fun, and it's just really elegant. I was really impressed how these fire polish beads really showed off. Great for, the office, great for an evening out. It's just a really fun project. So we're going to go ahead and get started. A few housekeeping notes. You're going to need 11/0 round seed beads. There we go. You are going to, depending on what length you are going to be doing your earrings, and it can be any length, just keep a note that per Tila, per the earring, you are going to need the same number of fire polish plus 1. So for example, here I have 3 Tila beads per earring, so that would be 4 fire polish per earring. Here I have 6 Tila beads, so that's a total of 7 fire polish beads. And then a couple of ear wire guards, and then 2 ear wires. And then depending on how many Tila beads you want, you're going to need 1 for each earring. So here I'm going to show you how to do the 6. This doesn't matter if you're doing the 3, 6, or if you want to do 4 or 5. It's going to be the same process. It's really fun and easy. All right, so for your thread, I'm using 6-pound Fireline because you know me now, I like to reinforce, so that's why I use this. If you're not reinforcing, definitely use something higher. I will just really say here with Tila beads, they do have sharp edges, and like bicones, they do cut, which is why I really recommend reinforcing. Okay, with that being said, go ahead. You can do however much you want. I would probably do arm lengths with like maybe 2 or 3 inches. Here I have a few extra inches because I did a little longer. I'm just gonna have excess thread afterwards, so I can go ahead and most likely do my second. Otherwise, if you want to try to do both earrings with the same thread, I would probably just do a little over a wingspan. And again, when I say wingspan, I just mean 2 arm lengths from one arm to the other, and then a little extra. And then my little extra here is my tail. All right, so I got my stop bead on, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the 6. So I'm going to take my first fire polish. Oh, before we get started, let me just explain what we're doing. Let me just line all of this up. What we're going to do is we're going to connect all the Tila beads first, and this bottom embellishment at the very end, and then go up the second hole, attach the wire guard, reinforce, and then we're going to do our embellishment. Okay, so that's how we're going to do that. And let me just see here about bringing you in a little closer. There we go. All right. Okay, so what we're going to do is we got the 2 holes right here. I'm just going to go ahead, thread the first fire polish, so it's 1. And depending on how many Tila beads you're going to put on, will depend on what you're doing. But first you're going to put on a Tila bead, then 1 11/0. I'm doing 6. And then I got my second Tila bead right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and thread that. Then I'm gonna put on 111.0. And then I'm gonna put on my third Tila bead. Go ahead and thread that. Then I'm going to thread 11.0. Then I'm going to thread another Tila bead. And then 11.0. Tila bead. 11.0. Oops. Tila bead. Now since this is my last Tila bead, I'm just going to go ahead and slide everything down. I'm going to do my very end, and what that is going to consist of is it's going to consist of 11.0, a 2mm fire polish, and 11.0. So this is my very end embellishment. Slide that down my thread. Now I'm just going to make my way all the way up all my Tila beads with a 11.0 in between each one. There we go. So I'm just gonna go ahead, go up my first Tila bead. There we go. Pick up an 11.0. Go up my second Tila bead. Pick up 11.0. There we go. Go up the third Tila bead. And keep in mind that we were going down one hole, now we're going up the second hole. Then pick up another 11.0 and then go up the fourth Tila bead. And then 11.0. Then your fifth Tila bead. There we go. And then another 11.0, and then your final Tila bead. There we go. So when you're looking at this, you should have, depending on how many Tila beads you put on, I have 6 here. You should have Tila 11.0s, Tila 11.0s, Tila 11.0s, Tila 11.0s, Tila 11.0s, Tila, and then your final embellishment, okay? Alright, so what we're going to do is now we're going to put on the wire guard. So I'm just going to slide this over out of my way. Keep that out of my way. Then I'm going to pick up, so when we look at the wire guard, if we look at it, it's got 2 little holes for your wire to go through, or in this case string, and then it has this open area up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through one hole. Go. And then I'm just going to go down the other hole and then into the first hole of the Tila beads and the 11.0s, and just basically I'm going to reinforce everything. And just make sure your string is right on top of and going through, whoops, the wire guard, okay? If not, just straighten it out so that it is, okay? And then go ahead and reinforce your previous stitching. So we're just gonna go down the one side of the Tila beads and the 11.0s like we did the first time around. There we go. You don't have to have things too tight. Yeah, we know that's one of my major issues, so that's why I mention it. Yeah, you guys will be much better than I am. Go through your fire polish. Just follow the thread path. And we're going to go up the other side. Nice and gentle. Because we want mobility with these earrings. We don't want them to be stiff. That's another reason why not to do it overly tight. You don't want to be loosey-goosey, but don't be overly tight. There we go. And I'm just doing a few at a time. And that way I'm making sure I get through everything. And I'm not skipping any beads. And I want to go through that wire guard again. There we go. So now I'm going to go through the wire guard a second time. You know, the thing about these wire guards, they're just kind of nice. They add a little bit of class to earrings. You don't have to use them. You can do like a beaded thing, but they're kind of fun to use sometimes. All right, so now I'm going to go down the second hole of the wire guard. And I'm just going to go through up to this, at the very side of this Tila bead, okay? So meet me back here. Again, I just want to really stress that the thread needs to sit in the groove of that wire guard, okay? So make sure it is. If not, fix it now before it's easier to do it now than later. All right, now in regards to the embellishment, it doesn't matter which hole we're coming out of, as long as we're coming out of the first Tila bead hole. And what we're going to do is we're just going to make little X's. Okay, that's why it doesn't matter which hole we're coming out of, as long as we're coming out of one of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, you just bring these over here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to pick up a 11-0, a 2mm fire polish, and 11-0. All right, so I got that. I'm going to go across to the opposite side and then come through just the Tila bead because we want the embellishment to sit on top of the Tila bead. So it's really important that we're coming in and out of the Tila that we want the embellishment to sit on top of. All right. Now for the X, we're just going to pick up 11-0 right now and go through that same fire polish. Okay. Go to the other side. There we go. Pick up another 11-0. Go through the opposite hole and down again, okay, out of the same Tila. And then we'll reinforce everything. There we go. So let's go ahead and reinforce that Tila, the embellishment. There we go. Go through the opposite side. And then make your X. There we go. And we're going to go down. And since we're here, and since earrings are so small, and so we don't have to take our tail and make our knots, let's go ahead and make our first knot. And I found that once you're done with that Tila bead and you don't have to go through it again, let's go ahead and do our knot right there. And actually, I want to do it before I go into the next Tila bead. There we go. Just because Tilas have bigger holes. So I went through the 11-0. Now I'm going to go ahead and do my first knot. And I'm going to do 3 or 4 knots. 2 on this side and 2 on the other side. There we go. Now I'm going to go all the way down the second Tila and have my needle come out of that Tila. There we go. And now I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to pick up a 11-0, a 2mm fire polish, and 11-0. I'm coming out of this hole, so I'm going to go into this hole and go straight down and come out of the same Tila. There we go. Pick up a 11-0, go through the 2mm fire polish. We're going to create an X here in just a moment. Go ahead, readjust everything. Sometimes that's needed. There we go. Pick up another 11-0, go through the opposite hole, and then down. And sometimes you just need to come up here and just adjust things, and then reinforce. So I'm going to just create an X on both sides. So here's my first X. Go through the opposite hole. Alright, go all the way down to your third Tila. Just be careful that you don't have any knots. Alright. Let's go ahead and let's create a knot here, and then we'll do 2 knots on the other side. There we go. Now I'm going to pick up a 11-0, a 2mm fire polish, and 11-0. Coming out of here, going through the opposite side. Pick up 11-0, 2mm fire polish, and 11-0. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. Pick up 1 11-0 and go through the same fire polish. I was getting ahead of myself. And pick up another 11-0. Go through the opposite hole. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead, reinforce. And then I'm just going to go down to that 4th Tila bead, so I'm coming out of it. All right, so go ahead and finish the last 3 of these up. Okay, once you're done with the last one, meet me back here. We'll do a couple of knots up here. Okay, you don't have to worry about doing knots down below here if you want to, not a big deal. But what we want to do is we want to go back up this way and do a couple of knots on the other opposite side. Okay, so finish up to the bottom here. Once you're done with the last one, meet me back here and we'll start going back up to do our last 2 final knots, okay? Alright, so now that I've finished my embellishments, I've already worked my way by following the thread path up to here. Now we want to add at least 2 more knots. If you want to do any more, that's perfectly fine. I think I'm going to go ahead and just do 1 more. So I'm going to do 3. So basically what I'm doing is I am threading all the way up so that way before I enter in a Tila bead, I'm going to do my half knots right before I enter in the Tila bead. So right after I go through the 11-0 is where I'm going to do my half knots. So go ahead, did it there. Now I'm just going to go all the way up until I get to right here, the second. There we go. So I'm a little bit more in focus. So now I am right before I enter my second Tila bead from the very beginning. I'm past the 11-0. I'm gonna go ahead and do a half knot. There we go. Then I'm gonna go all the way up to the very first Tila. So just like I did with this Tila, I'm gonna go through the Tila and the 11-0, come out before I go into that first one. Do a half knot. There we go. And go through the Tila. And you know what? You don't have to do this, but I think I'm going to go ahead and do this. And just go through that wire guard a 3rd time. Just because that's a stress point. So I'm going to go through the wire guard a 3rd time. And we're just going to exit out of this. Whoops. Don't want to get caught on any threads. And I'm just going to do a knot down below. Make sure my thread goes in the wire guard. If not, I would fix it now. And I did a knot earlier here, so I'm just going to go down to the next Tila bead here. There we go. Just pick any Tila bead that I didn't do a knot in. And I'm just gonna go through, do a quick half knot. And then go through that Tila and then end my threads. There we go. All right, so the reason why we didn't have to take our end and do our half knots with that is that we actually closed up any of the original thread on both sides near where this began. So, you know, I wouldn't do that with bigger pieces, but with earrings, something so small like that, yeah. That way you have less knots. All right, so go ahead and And your threads, either cut them off or burn them off. There we go. Now for the easy part. All right, so let's just kind of straighten that out a bit. Get our fire polish looking nice. Now to add our ear findings. And so our ear findings, it's just like a jump ring. So all you're gonna do is just gonna twist that open. All right. Now, the best way to remember how to put on your ear finding is to remember that the part you want facing should go towards the closed side, and the part that you want the back in should be towards the open side. And then you just close it up just like you do with a jump ring, and then just double check, make sure you have it on the correct side. I'll tell you, I probably a million times have done it the opposite, and I'm like, oh, and then have to redo it, but not the end of the world. And there's your earring. And then you go ahead and do the same thing for the second earring. It's that easy and that much fun. And so do me a favor, when you're done, if you could post a picture of it, I would greatly appreciate it. I'm looking forward to see people's creativity and having fun with this project. It's really a quick and easy project, and it is so cute. Let's just back that up and see that. I mean, look how cute that is. I mean, really, it's just kind of a fun earring. And if you want something a little bit more for the office, I would just make it a little shorter. I mean, you could still technically wear this for the office, but I mean, I think the shorter looks a little bit more professional, and then the longer looks more like, you know, an evening out and having fun. But I mean, either or, it's fun. All right, so please share your pictures. I look forward to seeing them, and take care, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Thanks.